So today we'll be talking about thermal mass and insulation, and this is in relation to energy usage in buildings. So what is actually thermal mass? According to the dictionary definition, thermal mass refers to the ability of a material to store heat energy. Right, and so what is the thermal mass material? The thermal mass material is usually something that obviously holds heat for long periods of time and can store heat. So that would be materials like bricks, which are made out of clay, concrete, stone, those types of materials. And of course, anything with a dark color, like if you were to paint the brick wall black, then it would store heat even better than before. And the whole point of thermal mass is that it stores heat from the sun and then releases it at night in order to heat the actual building that it surrounds. And where it's used is also an important factor, because if the thermal mass element is put in a place where the sun is not shining or heat is not being emitted onto it, then it is obviously going to not store the heat and then not release any heat into a specific place that can be of use to the people within that space. And so those are really important things to note with thermal mass, is the material that's used and of course where it is actually positioned. Insulation, on the other hand, refers to the ability of a material to slow down the transfer of heat energy, which is quite different to what a thermal mass element does. Alright, so a trum wall is one of the kind of systems that utilizes a thermal mass element. Over there on the little diagram, you can see where the thermal mass element is positioned. That would be your brick or your concrete wall or your stone wall, and it would be painted a dark color. It doesn't have to be painted a dark color, but the darker the color, the more heat it will absorb. And so I'm just going to read the blurb. It says, thermal walls feature a pane of glass or plastic glazing installed a short distance in front of the wall. This creates an air compartment where air is heated, then allowed in and out of the house through vents at the top and bottom of the trum wall. Trum walls work by trapping heat from the sun. Right, so basically the sun hits the glass heats up, the air between the glass and the wall gets even hotter because of the wall heating up as well, and then it obviously creates convection, which pulls the cool air from the building in and releases the hot air out, which is rising. It releases the hot air out through that vent into the space, and so it heats that space up through that mechanism. What does it actually look like? All right, so this would be a facade of what a trum wall would look like. It's a glazed element that is receiving that heat with a thermal mass element behind it. And then this would be kind of what the space between the glazing and the thermal mass element would look like. In this case, they've used a type of slate stone, which is a very, very good conductor in terms of heat storage. All right, so glazing. What factors make glazing a big contributor to non-passive design? So number one, windows can be a major source of unwanted heat gain in summer and a significant heat loss in winter. And number two, up to 40% of a home's heating energy can be lost, and up to 87% of its heat can be gained through windows. So what am I saying? I'm saying the position of the windows and the flow of the sort of energy and the flow of the air that goes through those windows is a huge part of how passive design can be achieved through windows, and also how windows obviously contribute to non-passive design. One thing that I thought of when I was putting this lecture together was that I stayed in this little log cabin, and it was the middle of winter, and this log cabin was just so cozy and picturesque and beautiful, just like this one in the picture. However, the windows were not sealed properly against the log cabin, and so even though it looked like it was warm and cozy and wonderful inside, and it had this massive fireplace, the fireplace was completely useless unless you were standing right in front of it. And in fact, we had to sleep with beanies on our heads at night to keep warm. And the reason that this log cabin was so freezing cold was because everything was solid except for the windows. The windows were not sealed properly, and so there was anything between 1 centimeter and 3 centimeter gap between the windows and the walls, which basically created the same exterior temperature as the interior temperature was. And we were in a forest with pine trees, and if any of you guys know about pine trees, if you stand under pine trees, it is really, really cool and wonderful in summer, but in winter it is freezing cold, and in many cases we would wake up with fog. And so the importance of sealing your windows just cannot be emphasized enough. And so conductance, which is the degree to which an object conducts, is really very connected to windows, because windows only conduct what is in the climatic condition of your location. So the temperature, the humidity, the sunshine, the wind, they conduct whatever it is outside, inside. And if the windows are not actually put together with good enough systems in terms of the actual glazing used in the window and the profile of the window, then you're basically just creating a box that is going to replicate the outside temperature, which is not going to be a place of comfort at all. Right, so then there's also transmittance. Transmittance is the ratio of the light energy falling onto a body that will then transmit it. So what am I talking about? I'm saying building design. So the orientation, the form, the layout of the building, the size and location of the windows, the shading and thermal properties of glazing systems, they all play a part in transmittance. And so these windows cannot transmit the heat, or they cannot transmit anything into the building if the position of the building is not correct. In South Africa, we need to position our buildings north so that we can receive the best amount of heat and light, and we also need to calculate our overhang so that we don't receive too much heat, but we cannot position our buildings south. And then of course there's air filtration, the process, the actional process of filtering. So whatever is next to your window or your glazing element, that is what is going to come into your building. And so I just asked the question, is your chosen place, where is your chosen place for your rubbish bin? Or are you putting trees and bushes and planting and things like that outside your windows, which will filter the air and create a beautiful and clean internal air conditioned environment? Alright, so will you just pause this video now and click on that link, and it will just talk about dark surfaces and light surfaces and how they differ in terms of thermal mass. So phase change materials. Just watch this clip as well through the PDF. Just click the PDF and watch this, and then it'll give you an idea of what phase changing materials are all about. And then off the grid building. So off the grid building literally means disconnected from the electrical grid. That is the short of it. Some people like to take it to another extreme and go off the grid completely in terms of everything supplied by the government, gas, water, the works. But the original off-the-grid building was literally just disconnected from the electrical grid, the electrical grid. And if you click this link, then it will take you to some examples of what off-the-grid actually means, and that will help you also with your activity. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little clip.